Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today we have Andrew Fogarty on the podcast, and Andrew has been flipping land for a few years now. He was one of the first students I had in Sell the
Mhm.
Earth, or I think it was even before Sell the Earth, but just as a student,
Yeah.
he started learning land. So he's been doing it a few years now. Yeah, welcome on, Andrew.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So when when did you start again? It was 23.
I think it was 2023. That's when we met. It was 2023, and I think we met beginning of 2023, and you kind of started teaching me, all that sort of stuff, and I ended up doing my first deal with my partner, my best friend, who I brought on to help us, as a business. And we got our first deal in August of that year. So,
Nice.
it was
Yeah.
probably a few months after we had met, you showed us, and from that timeline to getting the first deal, yeah.
Yeah, it usually takes people a few months now that I've seen that I've worked with other people because especially when you don't know anybody who's doing it, you have to
Right.
kind of prove it to yourself that it works. Or
Right.
if you know somebody, it's a lot easier, but you didn't really know anybody doing it. So it took a few
No.
months, but then you start to grow a lot faster since then. So
Yeah, it was definitely like a thing where it's like, it's hard at first because it's completely new to you, so, as we're going along, it was just kinda we were slow to get started, hesitant on things, and it's just kind of like it was like a snowball effect. We got our first deal. After getting that, it became easier to get the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, and now it's just like, we're acquiring a few deals a month most of the time,
yeah,
and it's just like, yeah, it's not something you can expect to do right off the bat, but it's definitely snowballs.
yeah. So we'll tease it a little bit. So it's 3 years in now. How many deals have you done overall?
I don't know off the top of my head. We're around the like mid 40s, low 50s range, I want to say, deals in
Nice.
total.
Yeah,
Um, mhm. So,
that's
and
really good.
it was a big explosion for us from 2024 to 2025. And so I think, 2023 is when we got our first deals. We got I want to say like 4 deals that year. So the first one was in August, and then we picked up a few more. So I think we had around 4 deals that we bought in
Mhm.
2023. Not all of them sold in 2023. And then 24, we did a total from buy to sell around like 11, I wanna say. And then kinda like, how it was for you, from what I understand when you were starting off, we pretty much doubled that the next year. And so 25, we did around I think we did a little more than double. We did around 25 deals, or 26 deals, I think, in
Nice.
2025. So it was a really big leap. And that was the year that
Mhm.
my partner Frankie and then myself went full time. So he went full time in the beginning of the year, and then I quit my 9 to 5 about halfway through, and I think that helped a lot as well. But um, yeah, I mean, I think once you get that momentum, you can really scale it out for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk more about your deals and what you're
Yeah,
doing, but what got you started in it? So, I mean, we met at a real estate meetup, but
right.
what made you interested in real estate in the first place?
I mean, you look at real estate in general, like I was interested in doing real estate since high school. I see that's where tons of people are making money. At the end of the day, like I'm not gonna lie, the money interests me for sure. I see people making good money as long as they're doing good deals. And so I was always interested. But like when you think about real estate, right off the bat, you think of like houses or apartment complexes or like duplexes. But like, you need a big chunk of change to like get into that kind of deal. A lot of money, there's a lot more risk. Like your deals, you're risking a couple $100,000 in something like that. And a lot of these deals don't produce much, in terms of cash flow. And so that was always the biggest hurdle. Um, and like that was my plan probably in my late, like, 19, 20. I was just, thinking I'll continue to work my 9 to 5 and slowly save up enough money for a down payment. And then I'll do like a FHA loan on a house and like do the house hacking stuff. Um, until we met and you started telling me about, you're buying these pieces of property for like $2,000. And, I'm sure almost anybody can kind of come up with $2,000 one way or another, whether it's like
Hmm.
friends, family, save it up for a few months. And, you can turn $2,000 into $15,000, whether that's a cash flip or they're paying you 3, 400, $500 a month, which is like what you'd get a lot of the times from buying a house, but you're risking $2,000 versus, 500, $300,000 for the same amount of money. And so when I heard that, I think that's when it immediately clicked. And I thought to myself, okay, I need to get to know this guy more because I need to learn how to do this.
Yeah. Did you ever have the idea or goal that you wanted to do real estate full time, or was it always going to be something passive?
Um, yeah, I think I always saw myself eventually being in real estate full time. I did
Hmm.
not think I'd be in it full time at this timeline in my life. I had always pictured like, I don't, I'll probably be able to be doing that, making good money from real estate, maybe in my early 30s, something like that. That'll give me enough time to buy a few and I'll be, good and be able to get out of a 9 to 5. So, yeah, I did have that vision, but it was a lot further out than what it ended up being. And I
Hmm.
think land flipping, it did. I know it made that happen. It really,
Yeah,
it expedited that process.
it's cool. How old are
Yeah.
you again? So everybody knows.
24. Just turned 24.
24.
A
There you
fresh
go. So you're full time when you were 23,
Yes, yeah,
right?
full-time
Nice.
at
There you go.
23,
That's cool.
and I went full-time, like I mean, yeah, I guess if it was 2025, so, like, a year and a half, 2 years, just about, is when I made the switch, so
Nice. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about your business now and how it's structured. So starting off, I mean, I think we kind of did the same thing because I was telling you how to do it, but
yeah.
now you probably have branched off and you do it a little bit different. So with
Yeah.
land, there's a few different ways to do it, right? You can actually purchase the land, you can wholesale it, you can double close it, you can do infill, rural lots, you can do subdivision, entitlements. There's a lot of different routes that you can go down. When we started, I think you were doing a lot more smaller lots to sell, just flip, and then do some seller financing notes. But now, what does it look like for you today? What are you focused on?
Yeah, for sure, yeah, so like you said, our bread and butter, especially starting, was those smaller lots that we ultimately sold, um, on seller financing to people. Now we're kind of focusing a lot of people I hear people like in the land industry call it like the mid-tier, mid-range properties deals. So we're trying to focus on like, a little higher acreage, but where you can typically sell the property between like 20 to $100,000, let's say. And so that's kind of where we're starting to put more focus to. It's still kind of new in our business. I would say the bread and butter is still those smaller lots selling on seller finance. Sometimes you'll get them on cash. Because that's like a proven method. Like that, we know it works. We know how much effort goes into it. And I will say there's a lot less effort to go in to get those deals than the mid-tier deals, and your ROI is way higher too on those subdivision deals. The only
Yeah.
thing is you might need a bit more capital because you're selling them on seller finance, so you're not getting all your money back, but you get that consistent cash flow. And I think that was actually the perfect way to start the business because it set us up in a spot to where we're having consistent cash flow every month come in to help support us to kind of branch off and get a little riskier, try new things in the space of land and go after these bigger deals. And so that's what we're doing now. We're kind of focusing more on those. And we're still doing those smaller deals. Like we actually just bought 3 subdivision properties a few weeks ago, we literally got them under contract. We got one under contract today, actually, and another
Nice.
one under contract 2 days ago. Um, and so I think all in on those, we like total for all 3 were like 4,400 all in, and we're selling one of them for 14 cash. Um, the second one, when I say 2, we have 2 that were side by side.
Mhm.
One of them we're selling 7,500 cash, and then the guy's financing the third lot that's next to it. So, I mean, all in, it was crazy return.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway,
that's really
so
good.
yeah,
The
yeah.
the
I
first
mean,
sale was tripled the total amount you put into it, or over
yes,
triple, and then the other 2 are just pure profit.
pure profit.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, we're still doing those because, like, how could
Mhm.
you not do that? And I think kind of how we're going about this now is we're trying to use other people's money more often for these more mid-tier deals. For
Mhm.
one, there's a little more risk. The margin's not margin, but the ROI isn't as high, but you are making more money some of the times, at least in terms of cash off of them. Um, but in terms of our own funds, we're using our own funds to still buy those subdivision lots because the ROI is crazy. It's like most of the time we're 3xing the money. And so,
Mhm.
I could see easily 5 years down the line, we can have a portfolio worth a couple $1,000,000 in just seller finance notes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, very similar to what I'm doing. It's, anything with over a 3x return, I'm gonna buy it myself. If it's in
Mm,
that 30 to 50% range, then I'll probably joint venture on it. Um, Anything over that, I'm probably gonna avoid unless there's a big spread on it. So if there's like a
yeah.
$20,000 plus spread, then I'll probably double close with it. But
Uh-huh.
otherwise, yeah, that cutoff is all the good percentage deals. Those are the ones that we buy with their own capital.
Right. Because it almost seems silly to me, like, if you have the funds to do that and you're 3xing your money, fund that. Especially if you
Hmm.
joint venture, they're gonna take a lot of times half. If you just find a private money lender, how they structure it, typically, it's like a tiered system, and they're gonna take 30% of your net profit if it sells within 30 days, and then it goes up from there all the way up to 50% of the net profit, depending on how
Yeah,
long it sells, and so it's like, it's not really worth it, and so if you're gonna 3x it, fund that thing yourself. It's totally worth it. It's like, we've grown our seller finance portfolio. We started with, it was Bitcoin, so, the first deal we did, I actually went to family and asked for them to fund it. And I was backing them because I was like, "Look, I have some Bitcoin. It's worth like $14,000. I will sell this and pay you out. I just need the cash now to go do this deal." And so, that was our first deal, $14,000 from a little bit of Bitcoin, and that's now our seller finance portfolio's a little over $200,000 right now. And we've had some fall off, and we've resold some, so they'd be higher right now. Um, and the 3 that we just sold, well, one of them will be seller finance, and we have a few more, lining up. And so I
hmm
could imagine it'll easily be over $300,000 by the end of this year.
nice.
Um, yeah.
What's your default rate? Do you know? Because I ran mine like a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, so I know it's 35% is
Really
what mine
for you.
default. Yeah,
We haven't really ran our default rate. I can tell you, let me think, because we haven't had that many. Um, I believe we've only had 3 defaults.
it's pretty
We've
good.
had
It's
3
pretty good.
defaults, and we have, like, 16 to 20 notes right now, like,
Okay.
seller financing. So we've
So
had
do you
3. One of
require?
them, sorry, go ahead.
What were you saying?
I was saying one of them, unfortunately, it wasn't because they defaulted, she had actually passed away. So,
It's not good.
yeah. But the other 2 were, legitimate defaults, they couldn't make the payments.
Yeah.
And so, there's that. We have been pretty patient with some people. So we've had like missed payment months, but we know that they're good for it and, they might be going through a tough time, but they pretty much always get back on track.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
again,
are you
worst
pretty
case scenario, you take it back.
yeah. Are you lenient at all? So, like, I usually give people a few months. Like, I've had some people go, like, 6 months before I'll actually default
Oh,
on them, but, um
we haven't gone 6 months, but there was a couple. They actually just paid us uh 2 days ago, I think, for the first time, and they missed 3 months. But
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
we're lean because they were good paying before. It's like if they can't even make their first month's payment and then they're missing, then maybe I'll kind of be harsher and just take it back. But they
Mhm.
were good for it before and they were going through some personal things. Between them, health related stuff. And so, I didn't want to take that away from them. Um,
Yeah.
and it ended up turning out fine. They just made a month's payment and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll usually work with people as long as they get back to me. It's the ones that if I try contacting them and then they just keep ghosting
Yes.
me, it's like, okay,
Yes.
we're just gonna default 'cause
Yeah,
you don't want
I'm
it
the same
apparently or
too.
something, but
Uh-huh. If you can't even text me back or take my call, it's like I want to work with you. You just have to let me know what's going on. If you can tell me or my partner like, "Hey, I'm not gonna be able to make this payment this month." Uh, you don't even necessarily have to tell me why. If you can just give me
Mhm.
a heads up, and then if I have that, I come back next month and ask, "Hey, what's going on? Do you have a timeline on when you could pay?" If you can just answer me, that's all we need. And,
Yeah.
usually it ends up panning out. But yeah, I agree. When they stop responding, that's when we call it. And that's what happened with our most recent one. She was just being
Okay.
very unresponsive. And it took a little while. Just because Texas, contract for deed isn't like the best route to go, I guess. So it was a little harder to take
Mhm.
it back, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't that
Yeah.
bad.
Did you hit her with the text message from a different phone number? 'Cause I'll usually do that. If they don't reply, I'll text them from a different number. I'll be like, "Hey, Joe," and then
Yeah.
Joe says, "Who's this?" And it's like, "Actually, this is Hunter from XYZ Real Estate.
Yeah.
You're late on
Why
your
haven't you
payments."
get back to me, man?
Yeah.
What's going on? That's really
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, I haven't done that. We've done that with, like, seller leads.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
they, like, know Frankie, my partner, I'll hit him up, and they'll text, and I'll be like, "Hey, what's up? I'm with Frankie, like,
Mhm.
are you still interested?" But, yeah, we haven't done that. Well, I take that back. We've done that before, um on a few people. If they have Frankie's number and they're not responding, then I will reach
Mhm.
out to them, and
Yeah.
they usually won't have mine or vice versa. And so we have done that before, but you know, for the most part, no problems. No problems with, the defaults with people not paying.
That's
Sometimes they
good.
don't pay, but that's fine. We just tack it on at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. That works. So
Yeah.
we were talking a little bit about structure. What does the
Mhm.
structure of an acquiring a deal look like for you? Like, who do you have on your team right now? So there's you, your partner, and then you have a virtual assistant, a VA.
Yeah.
Do you have one, or
Yeah, we
what's
have
walk us
one.
through what it looks like?
We have one right now. We are trying to get a cold caller right now as well, so that'll be a new addition. But so right now, I mean, I think the structure of how we're getting the deal changed drastically, even in the last like month, 2 months, just because of Claude and AI. Um, Beforehand, and how we got most of our deals was just direct mail, cold mail. So we would just pull a list and handwrite the mail, send it off, and then they'd call us. And you know, it was a little time intensive writing the mail, but like, you're getting the most motivated sellers that way.
Hmm.
Um, so now how we do it is we have our AI go and pull, counties that are good, that meet our certain metrics. and then it'll go and tell our virtual assistant in Slack, it'll write her a message. Okay, here's this month's counties that we're gonna hit and target. And so she'll have the whole month. So at the beginning of the month, she gets that message in a Slack channel, and then she'll go in, and we use Regrid, and she'll pull all those different lists, when she needs them. And so she's the one that handles all of that. And
Hmm.
then AI handles the rest. And so all my partner and myself are doing are just replying really to the warm leads that come in through our outreach. We're mostly doing cold texting right now. And so when a warm lead comes in, she'll mark it, push it over to our CRM, and then, we'll be doing the calling. And so that's kind of how it goes. And then we'll usually do like
Hmm.
a two call system. So first call with the warm lead is just to build rapport, get to know them, kind of get a feel for the land, ask some kind of qualifying questions. And then I try not to talk price as far as like giving an offer. At the
Yeah.
end of the call, though, I will always ask them if they have a price in mind. I would say it's probably 50-50. Sometimes they'll give me a price or a range. Sometimes they'll just be like, I don't know. I mean, you reached out, give me an offer. And so I still won't give them an offer there. I'll wait. And then, we'll give them a call back the next day or whenever we schedule. And that's when we'll kind of pitch them our offer and go from there.
Yeah. That's the same thing we do. Is first call is rapport building,
Mhm.
asking if they get a price, and then trying to get a price. So if they don't give you a price, then it's like, could you give us a
Yeah.
price range, or do you have something in mind? And
Yeah.
then yeah, if we always say, unless like the price is really good that they give us, then we might close it on the first call.
Oh,
But
for sure. Yeah. If it's a good
yeah,
price right there, we'll be like, yeah, yeah, I think that could work for us. But I'll talk to my
yeah,
partner. I think we could send something out today.
yeah, yeah. It's a little more than I wanted, but we might be able to
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
work.
You can't
But
get
then,
too excited when they give you a
yeah.
good price or, you'll kinda give it away, but
Yeah. Oh, that's it? Um,
Really? Are you
yeah.
sure?
Then what about, on the dispo side? Are you guys handling all of that, or do you have AI helping with it, or how's your, dispositions look?
Yeah, we're still relatively hands-on. Well, in a sense. So, dispo side, it does also depend on the deal, how we dispo it. So a lot of those, like, subdivision lots, the ones we're selling on seller financing, those are all Facebook Marketplace. We get all of those
Yeah.
on Facebook Marketplace, and so, myself and my partner will handle listing them on Marketplace, so we'll create the ads ourselves, post them, but then I have Claude do all the responding for me on the Facebook Marketplace responses, and so that's great. That has freed up a ton of time because I'm sure, the amount of messages and tire kickers you get in Facebook Marketplace is crazy.
Yeah.
So for it to go through and do all that is amazing. And then it'll even kick over people that, qualify. We have like two metrics. They got to show some sort of intent to want to visit the property at some point. And then, what was the other thing? I forget. I have one more metric for it. Oh, a phone number. They got to give us a phone number. And so my Claude will try and get that information, and when we get both of those, they'll, put those people into our CRM, for me to call, and, it'll give us notes and stuff, and so it's handling all that, um, and that's pretty much we don't really have our VA doing anything with that,
Mhm.
she did have a Facebook account that she was doing, but it ended up getting banned, um,
Yeah.
I know it's kinda harder when you're, like, doing it with people overseas, so we're kinda managing that, and, hopefully we don't get banned for whatever reason. And then on the other side, the kinda mid-tier deals, the deals that because I think there's always, like, deals and, like, you can kinda gauge it, deals that will perform better on marketplace, and then there's deals that'll just perform better on MLS. Because I think you have,
Mhm.
like, different buyer pools for different properties, and you have to know who your buyers are. These
Yep.
seller finance properties do amazing on marketplace. Um, and then you go try and put those type of deals on the MLS, and they don't tend to, like, perform as well for whatever reason. I don't know. And then vice versa, at least in our experience. We'll put the kind of higher ticket properties we're selling, like 20 or $30,000 and more on marketplace, and definitely not as much bites. But we go put it on the MLS and it does great. And MLS is really good too because you have your realtor kind of handling all that. And so when we
Hmm.
get those deals, I would say our disposition is fairly limited, like how much time we put into it. Because I mean, you just got to find the good realtor in the area, give them the images, and then they go list that for you. And you don't got to worry. They'll just come to you with, "Hey, we got an offer here, here. What are you guys thinking?" And those are
Hmm.
great too because they sell cash most of the time.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I think those seller financing deals, you probably sell a lot to people who don't even know that they want it in the first place, but they
Yeah.
see it on Facebook and they're like, "Oh, we could have it for like this very low amount down," and then they kind of get thinking like, "Oh, it'd be kind of fun," and then they end up buying it, and then that's where
Yeah.
I think you make a
Yeah.
lot of those
Totally.
sales. But yeah, definitely the higher ticket items I also sell on. I put on the MLS. Um, so you use a realtor for listing on the MLS then instead of using a flat listing service?
Most of the time, I would say it's just better because you're working with somebody that has experience of the area that knows things that you probably don't know. Because a lot of these realtors, as long as you find a good one, um, they're gonna know that area. A lot of the times in my experience, I've come across realtors that have, like, lived there their whole lives, and so you'll just say a street that your land is on in the whole county, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I know exactly where you're talking about." Like, "Wow, okay." So, they've been doing it for years and, like, in that area, and so they might even have buyers that they might know of as well, and so
Mhm,
that's kind of a benefit. Obviously, the downside is they're gonna cost a lot more than doing a flat fee, and so for us, we have done flat fee before, and it's been totally fine. Um, and so it just depends. If we can find a competent realtor that isn't gonna get in the way of the deal, because like, I think if you get a bad one, I think it's gonna do more damage than good having a realtor, so you gotta have a good one. Um So if we can find a good one in that county that really knows the area, then we're gonna go with that all day. If not, we'll go to the flat fee and, that's just as fine. Um, I guess I don't know if this is a little off topic, but like when it comes to double closes specifically, that's kind of a
mhm,
new deal structure we're getting into. Um, with double closes, a lot of the times in counties, especially the more rural you get, I feel like there's a little less pool, like a smaller pool of realtors you could choose from. A lot of realtors don't know double close. They're like scared of it. They think it's illegal or something. They're like, no, like it's like the plague to some of them. And they'll like
Yeah,
blacklist you or whatever. And so like a recent one, we got a double close. We called pretty much all of the realtors that have done recent deals in the county, like on land specifically. None of them were willing to do a double close. And so that one
mhm,
in particular, we ended up doing just flat fee. And it worked out
yeah,
fine. We ended up getting a buyer. It's under contract right now to close probably next week. Um, and that, we got that in probably 2 weeks of having it up. And so it's not that big of a problem going that route. So I would say it's like it's not your first resort. I wouldn't jump straight to flat fee.
mhm,
But if you have to, it is still a really good option.
yeah. It's funny. It reminds me when I was cold calling like 2018, 2019, doing subject to,
Yeah.
and I would call realtors and nobody knew what it was. And it was the same thing. I
Yeah.
was like Black Plague if you tried to mention doing something
Uh-huh.
subject to. But
Yeah,
now
they
I think a lot more are
scam.
familiar with it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
now, like,
So
sub two is everywhere, and I think you'll see that too with, double close because I think a lot of, flippers in general are leaning towards double close, like
mhm,
a lot, 'cause it's starting to just make way more sense now anyways. And
yeah.
I think it opens the door up too to get way more deals. If you can do double close, if you can kinda wrap your head around that, I think you'll add a lot, to your business. It opens up a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't have anything into it really, which is
Yeah.
the benefit, right? But
Uh-huh.
it is, there is downsides for the seller, which I don't like, but
Definitely.
that's,
I mean, I can tell
yeah.
you we just went through one. Oh my gosh, it pains me. It's just happened over the weekend. It blew I think on on Friday. Um, so we got a double close. So the really nice part about the double close, in my opinion, is super low risk. You're nothing into it, and I think you can do deals that you otherwise wouldn't do before. And so, like with a lender, a lot of the times those guys, the private money guys, if they're going to fund a deal, you need to be at 50% of the market value. The most of the guys that I've talked to, that's where they're at, 50% of market value. Um, And so that shuts the door on a lot of deals. Like, if there's people, like sellers that are, like, stingy on their price, you're just not gonna get that deal done unless you have the capital yourself. But then it's like, is it worth it? So, a deal we were just doing, in Texas County, Missouri, I think. Um, it was a buy for 38, sell for 58.
Okay.
So we would have had to get this guy down. He originally wanted 45K. I got him down to 38. It wouldn't have worked as a cash in. I wouldn't want to risk that much capital of our own anyways,
Yep.
especially when we can go 3x our money on these seller finance deals. Um, and so we were able to pitch him on a double close and it was great. We got it up and that thing was actually hot. We got a buyer the first week putting it up on market for full asking price. They just needed to verify a few things. And we were literally scheduled to close for next week. And the seller, the guy who I convinced, to go the route of a double close,
Mhm.
calls me and is like, hey, so the family that previously owned this land, I bought from them and kind of told them that I would sell it back to them if they ever had the money to get the property back. Because it was
Yeah.
like family land, they grew up on it. So lo and behold, they come out of the woodworks and we're like, hey, we have the money to buy it now. And so he calls me, he's like, hey, yeah, sorry, I can't do the deal. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Like, we have do you realize we have the funds? Like, we're ready to close next week.
Mhm.
Uh, and he was like, "I just morally, I can't." I told them I'd sell to them. This is their family land. There's still some stuff from their childhood on the property, and so ultimately, I wasn't gonna push the guy, and like
Yeah.
tell him, "No, you have a contract with us." Um,
I
and
bet
so it
what
blew up.
happened is
It's like,
he called them
was
back. I bet he called those people because he had
yeah.
your offer, and then he went to negotiate off of it, and they probably had a higher offer. Is
So he didn't tell me um what their offer necessarily was, but I
Mhm.
came to him and I told him, I'm like, "Listen, we can up the price because I knew we had around after closing costs, we would be getting around $14,100 from the double close.
Mhm.
It's a pretty nice chunk of money,
Yeah.
especially for no money in, and, like,
Yeah.
we had it up for a week. And so, we had plenty of margin. Like, I don't care. Like, if we can make even like four or $5,000 off of a double close, I'm cool with that. There's no risk to us. Um, and so I knew we could definitely bump it up. And so, I offered and I tried to, do that. And he's like, listen, man, it's not even about the money. Like, I genuinely don't care unless you made me some crazy offer. He's like, "Yeah, I don't care." And so I even offered him pretty much very close to what he originally wanted at 45, and he's like, "No." He's like, I gotta sell to them, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
So that's the downside because if we had come to that thing with cash, it would have closed. I think it would have been a more solid agreement, too. I think it's probably a little harder to argue, "No, you have to sell to us," with it being a double
Yeah.
close. Um, and so I would say, yeah, that's the downside because it takes a little longer. So I think there's more opportunity and time for the current owner to go out and prospect and find another buyer who can do more. So that is
Yeah.
the downside, for sure. And it stings, but at the end of the day, it's not a deal we would have done either way without it being able to be the double close. So you do get more opportunities, but you can get screwed.
Yeah. That's unfortunate it falls through because it is something you could, go after him to close on it, but
Yeah,
it, it sounds like he was probably doing the right thing.
yeah.
If you offered him that much, I doubt that these other people probably offered that much more
No,
than
a
you.
and quite
So,
frankly, I don't know that they were offering even what we offered that we agreed on at
hmm
38. Um, so that was, like, the thing. Like, if it was the case where it was just, like, some other guy came and offered him more money, I would totally press this guy on the fact that, "No, you have a contract here with us. We're
yeah,
entitled, we're set to close, you have to sell it to us at this, dude. Like, you agreed, is what it is." But the fact that it was, like, kind of a moral dilemma thing, I'm not gonna be the guy to be like, "No, you have to," especially because it was
yeah,
family for the other people. It's like, I don't
yeah,
wanna be one of those, like, greedy schmucks, that's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
strip family land for 14 grand.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
it
sure.
it is what it is. You know, one lesson learned on that, though, for sure, was this is something. And I've heard this from other people, and so I knew this, but I did not put it into practice, was you should constantly update your people who are on double close so they know what's going on. Because
Hmm.
genuinely, I just kind of figured and assumed that the title company had contacted him because I gave them his info and we were closing so soon. I'd assumed that they had contacted him to let him know because they needed some paperwork for him to sign too.
Yep.
And so by the time he called me saying, "Can't do this deal anymore, the previous owners are gonna buy it back from me," it was already too late. But, I asked him, I was like, "Oh, like, we're closing next week. Like,
Yeah.
you wanna," and he's like, "What? What are you talking about?" So he had no idea that we had
Hmm.
found, our end buyer to fund this so that,
Yep.
we could pay him out. And I think legitimately, if we had told him that, before he had done that call with those people, he might have, you know, either not done that call in the first place with them or, thought harder about continuing to go with us because we said, we have the money, we're ready to fund.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
that
live
was
and
a
you
down.
learn.
Yeah. So
Learning
legit, I think
experience.
if I had made literally one phone call like a week prior, it
Yeah.
probably would have still been going through. So
Yeah.
is what it is.
So before we get back to the episode, I want to tell you about a software platform that I built called DirectREI. Most real estate investors are still manually following up with leads, or they're paying virtual assistants to send texts and emails all day long. With DirectREI, AI can handle a large portion of that work for you. Upload a list of leads, and the AI can automatically send personalized emails, text messages, respond to common questions, follow up with prospects, and help move conversations forward while you focus on finding and closing deals. Of course, DirectREI also includes the tools that you'd expect, like CRM systems, skip tracing, direct mail, calling, lead management, and workflow automation. But the real goal is simple: help real estate investors spend less time on repetitive outreach and more time talking to motivated sellers. It's the same software my team uses in our own land business. If you'd like to see it for yourself, head over to directrei.com. There's a free version available so you can create an account and start testing it today. Now, let's get back to the show. All right. There. Let's see. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the overall industry in land flipping. So you've progressed a little bit from doing what we're just talking about, the smaller deals into some double closes and bigger properties. Where do you see the overall industry going in the next year, couple of years? Is it going to be more people doing some of these double closes, or do you think there's anything new that's going to be coming out?
I would definitely say I think people are gonna start doing more double closes, that's for sure. I think you're kind of already seeing it. It's definitely, at least from what I've seen, it's definitely being more talked about, with double closes. And that's just with the fact that I think a lot of markets are slowing down too. Like, uh, after COVID, I know it was going crazy. We weren't even in the business, but hearing all the other guys that were in there long before, I mean, I know you were doing it during that time. Things were just popping off. People were able to sell like crazy, sell exactly what they're asking. And a lot of markets are slowing down. And so I think double closes are going to be a much more popular thing because, again, a lot less risk for you to do those deals. Um, I think doing like new kind of deals, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about that. I know for us, we're certainly going to be ramping up more double closes just because, kind of like what I said before, it opens up a whole new kind of deal. You can start doing deals that you used to throw in the bin. You can start doing those now. And okay, like, so what? You're not making 15, 20 grand off of it. If you make 4 or 5 grand, if you could stack like three, four of those, that adds up pretty quick to, some pretty good monthly cash flow. Um, and something we'll always do that I don't think is gonna go away is those subdivision deals on seller
Hmm.
financing. I mean, again, it's the highest margin. I think it's the safest kinda deal, l like, lowest risk. That's just great, and I think that's, like, just the best foundation in your business because it gives you that stability of monthly cash flow. Like, honestly, if we didn't have those, the note money coming in every month, we'd be screwed some months, like, especially the winter season, we'd be cooked,
Yeah.
because that's slow for us. We don't get a lot of sales done, and if we only relied on, cash sales, chunks of money coming in, yeah, I think we'd be pretty screwed, at certain periods throughout the year. But it's like, it's not really a big deal if we don't sell a property 1 month because we
Hmm.
already know exactly what we're gonna make that month as, like, a baseline. Um so I don't know, going forward with deals, I think it'd actually be pretty dang smart to start building up at least some sort of like notes. You know, get to like if you want to be at $5,000 a month coming in or $10,000 a month coming in, I would build that because that's like a very good fail safe. And it's not too difficult to build up to that. It really
Yeah.
isn't. I don't know, dude. We've been thinking like maybe we might start doubling down harder on those note ones. I don't
Hmm.
know. We might.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only type of real estate I know where you can. I mean, maybe there's like an arbitrage play you can do, but the only type of real estate where you can spend a couple grand and have cash flow where you're 500
Yeah.
ish plus dollars a month
Oh, yeah.
off of that small of an investment.
I
Maybe
don't
like an arbitrage play, but other than that, I don't think there's anything else that does it really.
nothing comes close. It's like, yeah, you spend 2 grand to make 400 a month. Like, holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you have plenty of time with that notes timeline to go replace it, Most of the time, like, ours are 3 to 4 years. And so, if you can't find another deal making you similar monthly within 3 years, I think that's kind of a you problem. There's something something you're not doing that you should be.
Yeah.
Like anything, you should be able to just keep scaling it. Because it's like I think
Yeah.
that maybe a worry some people have. It's like, oh, I bought all these properties, but like it's gonna run out in 5 years or 3 years or 4 years. But it's like you can very easily replace it and then continue to grow and get more on top of that. Um,
Yeah. And there's always going to be deals because with saturation, it's not like it's just gonna there's not gonna stop being properties. There's people that own those
yeah.
properties and their scenarios are always changing. So like people die, people inherit properties,
Oh,
people need money. So like even if a deal wasn't a deal last year, like their situation could have changed and now that property's
100%.
a deal again. So
Oh,
like
we've
yeah,
had people from our mailers from, like, right when we started, like, 2, 3
yeah,
years ago, like, recently call us, and, like, now they're
yeah,
ready to sell. Um, like, yeah, it's always changing, and, like, it might be a case, we've heard all the time from, like, warm leads coming in from our cold texting. They've had the property forever, but, like, something recent might have just happened, and now they're ready to get rid of it.
hmm,
Um, and yeah, you have a lot of the old people, that have accumulated a lot of land and, they're old, they're not gonna pass it down to their kids. No plans with it, so, if you can make a deal easy for them, meet that price that they want, tons of land to buy. Like, I feel like there's people hitting that age where they just don't care to have it anymore, like, all the time.
yeah, I agree. What's something controversial? What do you think people talk about in land or do in land right now? Like maybe other land investors that you don't agree with. You have any hot takes?
Good question. I don't know. Stuff that I don't agree with? I mean, I would think kind of like a standard just for anybody, like, just be transparent. Because I do see some
Yeah.
flippers that are just, like, flat out lying about, what they do, who they are,
Yeah.
just to, like, get the deal to make it, like, a little more enticing for the seller. Like, I think you should be honest with, like, the intentions. You don't have to be straight up honest, you can be somewhat vague, but I would just say don't lie about it. I've seen,
Mhm.
like, flippers just say, like, whatever they're gonna say to make the person wanna sell, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I don't." Um, maybe that, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think the land flipper people, they're pretty solid people from what I've seen in the community.
Oh, yeah. A
People
lot
who
more than, other types of real estate for sure.
Yeah, the wholesalers,
Yeah.
I don't know about people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but the land flippers, I feel like a lot of those, yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we are solving a problem for these
For
people. I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
wholesalers are too. Like, I think there's a
Mhm.
place for everyone, but, like, as long as you're honest with these people too, like, they appreciate that more too, you know?
Yeah.
Even if you're not the right fit, they appreciate it, and the sellers can tell if you're lying, if you're
Yeah.
not being
Yeah.
honest, and then you'll feel better about it too, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, one thing I do a lot more now is we give people options. So if, for an example, would be if we're going to actually purchase it for cash, we're going to need a lot lower price. The
yeah.
benefit to the other people is we're going to close a lot quicker, and it's for sure going to close compared to if they're not taking that price, then we'll give another option where we can go and try to double close it. It's going to be a lot longer time period, and it may not close 100%. Or, the other option is we unlist it for you as either like a novation or just on the MLS with a realtor and take a fee like that. So
Oh,
like there's different levels of it depends
right.
what they're looking for. If they want more money and they're fine waiting a long time, then we can go a route like that. Whereas if they want the cash right away and they want it for sure to close, then we're there with that. So then it kind of gives people one, the option like we have all the options, so they don't need to go anywhere else. Like if they want to
Uh-huh.
sell, we have
Mhm.
every option for them. But then two, it's kind of like I'm not pushing anybody to sell it at a low
Right, you're
price.
not
It's like
you gotta get
yeah.
lower, like, "I need to be here, what can you do?" It's like, "Hey,
Hmm.
no worries, if you can't meet me at that price, that's cool, I can't be quick with you anymore, but I can meet you at that price, I just need time." That's exactly how
Yeah.
we do it. We don't go quite as in depth, like, I'm not studied up on, like, the novation stuff, and we haven't really tried pitching, like, we'll just put it up on the MLS for you, because I know you have your license, right?
Yeah, yeah, so,
Yeah,
like, one benefit is I can refer somebody in another
right.
state and then get a commission back
Which that's
like
pretty
that, but
solid, that's nice.
yeah,
But that's
um
same for us. I will always try and go into a call, um, on those, like, mid-tier deals with the 2 options already. So, like, I already have
mhm,
planned out, like, what can I max offer to do a cash deal with these people, and what is my max price for a double close, really?
yeah,
So, for us, we give them the 2 options. And I mean, yeah, it's just how you explain it. It's like, "Do you want cash now? Quick close? This is what I can do. If you don't care waiting, then this is what I can do." And I'll ask
yeah,
that too. That's like there's something that I'll do that helps,
mhm,
when giving the offers that I found is, um and I learned this from that guy, Ajay. He's, like,
okay,
big on
yeah,
sales in the land
mhm,
space. It's, like, kinda prep them, like, I'll ask them on the first call, what were your plans with the property, right now with you selling, like, are you looking, like, are you in any kind of rush to sell? And
mhm,
that's another reason I think you're gonna see a lot more double closes, and it's worth doing it because so far in my experience, most of these land sellers are not necessarily in a rush to sell.
yep,
It's more about price for them. And so the double close, you can get closer. And so sometimes I won't even bother to give them my cash price. I'll even make a joke out of it. Like, listen, I don't want to even offend you with what I can pay cash, but here's what I can do. I can actually meet you at your price, but, I need this, this, and that in order to do that. And dude, like most of the time, they have no problem with that. They're like, okay, yeah, that
Hmm.
sounds good. It's cool.
Yeah.
And like
How do you
sometimes you
how do
got,
you pitch it to them? Do you tell them you're going to? Because you can't just say, we're going to double close. One,
yeah,
nobody would probably know what
I
that
don't ever use,
means. But
uh-huh.
how do you present that deal to them?
Yeah, so usually I'll say, I got, 2 options. Obviously, the cash option, that's its own pitch. For the double close, I'll usually bring up I'll say and I think it's good. I'll say other land sellers we've worked with. Like, I'll bring
Hmm.
up that we've done this many times before with other land sellers, and so they're a little more confident. They're like, "Oh, okay, I'm not the only one that has done this before."
Hmm.
But I'll usually say, like, "Listen, I can get to your price, or I can get close, whatever that is." I'll say that price, and then I'll say, but for me to get to that price, I'm gonna need to be able to kind of partner with some other people, other possible investors, other people that might have interest in this, to be able to come in and partner with us on this deal, to be able to make it possible. Because right now, the price you're at, we just personally we can't do with our own funds, unfortunately. But I can still get you your price. I just need a little bit more time, and so I might need 3 months, even up to like 6 months to make this happen, but you don't have to do anything. We will be handling all this. And then I'm also going to need to be able to market it potentially. And so we might find that potential better end buyer who this property works better for them. And
Hmm.
so, I'll say it somewhat, like that. It's always a
Yeah.
little different. But those are kind of the things I hit on. Like, I'm going to need time. I'm gonna need to be able to market it, and we might partner, and I'll even kind of come across to them like we're partnering as well, like us and them as the seller. Like we're partnering
Yeah.
here, like we're helping each other out. You're helping me get you your number, and so
Yep.
we're partnering on this together, and it's just a win-win for everyone. So that's kind of
Yeah.
how I pitch it, I guess. Probably not the
Yeah.
most solid pitch, but it's worked
it,
really
it
good.
works.
So, I mean,
Yeah. No.
haven't had anybody yell at me for that or be like, "What the heck are you talking about?" Like, it's been positive. It's either been just like, "Meh," they want their cake and, whatever that saying is, they want their cake and eat it too. So, like, they'll
Hmm.
just be like, "No, I want my price and I want cash, like, in 2 weeks." And so it's just like, "All right, you're being unrealistic." Um, and then some of them, ultimately does just fall through, but almost
Hmm.
every time they're like, "Okay, yeah, that's probably something we can work with."
Yeah. That's cool. That's I think that's pretty similar to what I do as
Yeah.
well. So it's pretty pretty
Yeah,
close.
you could touch
With
on that.
Yeah, with especially I've done a couple deals where I've sold to developers. So somebody was going to develop the land.
Interest
And then that pitch is very spot on because that's very much what we are doing. Like I'm partnering with
Right,
that person. We're like, I'm giving
right,
you this price and I'm going to find a developer who's going to
100%.
build on this land. So like I can give you this cash offer, or I'm going to have to partner with somebody who is going to be that developer and
Mhm.
basically you. So then you're not even like being in a gray area at all. Like that's 100% what you're doing. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
it's
How are you guys, like, approaching the developer people? Is it very specific? Are you specifically targeting certain properties to go after developers?
um so now using DirectREI, we'll go
Okay.
in if we're in a market, one of the features in there is you can search for developers. So like we'll just put in yeah. So basically taking it back a step, if we're already marketing in an area and we get a property that would be good for development, then I'll go and do that. I'll try and see if there's any developers. I'll reach out
Okay,
to them, present to them that I have this piece of land. Um, and that's how
that's
we
great.
do it. So
Yeah,
that's
we're
generally the
not
process.
quite that, what's the word? We're not quite that, savvy yet with the whole
Yeah.
developer thing, bringing the land to developers, but,
I usually do it for larger property, larger acreage, where if it would be good for like a major subdivision. So not a,
okay.
not a minor subdivide where you're doing like, 40 into 10-acre parcels. That would be a
Uh-huh.
little different. But if it's something where you could cut it up into, 10 plots or 20 plots or 30 plots or something like that,
Right.
um, then I'll try like that.
For sure.
But
Yeah, I think that's something too a lot of people are gonna start doing more, or gravitate towards is the minor subdivides. We've never done one, but that is something we're actively trying to get into as well. Because it seems like
yeah,
that's a way from what I've seen, like you can turn a deal that otherwise wouldn't work into a deal that would.
yeah,
Have you I forget if you've done a
yeah, yeah.
thing
They're still not my favorite because you're putting in it's very hard to get a 3x return. So
Yeah.
still not my favorite. But if you can get the seller to seller finance it for you, um, then it's actually it kind of works out where if they like for an example, if they have a 40-acre
Mhm.
parcel and they're willing to sell it to you on contract for deed for 10% down. Um, so if it's like a 60, $70,000 purchase price or 80,000, whatever it is, so you're buying it for 10, 15, $20,000 down. You cut it up and then you sell off those properties individually and then pay them back as you pay them, uh,
Yeah.
as you sell them. Then it makes sense. Um, that's one way
I've heard
that I
about
like.
people, like, yeah, offering that. And, I just haven't, like, figured out, okay, how would I pitch this to them yet? But, down the
Yeah.
line, maybe next time we do one of these, we'll have a minor
Yeah.
subdivision under our belt. But I know it's, like, all just a process. I think
Yeah.
when you land, it's like nobody's starting off in land. Most people are getting right into a minor subdivide as their first deal. It's
Yeah.
like a level up kinda thing, you know?
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
do more deals, you get some more balls in the business, and you just go try the next bigger, slightly riskier, but more rewarding deal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing. You have risk in that too, because then
Yeah.
you have something could go wrong. Some part of that process can get the city doesn't approve it or the township or the county. And then you've locked up a property where it probably isn't a deal on its own. It's only a deal if you've subdivided it. So you have that risk. Um, yeah. So
Yeah, that's true.
there's risk to it.
That's for sure, 'cause it is a little sketchy if you're doing a deal where there's only one exit on it.
Mhm.
Uh, Really sketchy, whether you're doing land or houses,
Yeah.
that's really sketchy. So, that is a good point. It's like if you're doing the deal solely because it only works as a subdivide, whereas I think,
Hmm.
double close is different. It's like, I don't know if it's a good idea to have this, but, like, in our double close agreement, it's fairly open-ended in terms of us if we just can't perform, the deal's just dead. If we can't
Yeah.
bring the money within the 150-day timeline, the 3, 4 month, whatever it is, the deal's just dead. Unless, we
Hmm.
can ask an extension, and if they grant it, cool, or we can just come
Yeah.
back to them, we need more time. Otherwise, it's just dead, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's you said it's open ended in your contract. Like you do have it say that, right? Like
Yeah,
you're not held. Okay.
it
Yeah.
does. It does. So I
Yeah.
guess it's not open-ended, wrong word, but we have it saying there, like, if we have not performed on, bringing the funds for the deal by the agreed upon, close date, then the agreement, contract, whatever is like void. And
Yeah. So there's no
um,
penalty for on no perform
correct,
non performance.
correct.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I would necessarily want to get into a double close if the seller is very adamant on you are obligated to buy it.
Hmm.
Unless they agreed on giving us infinite time to sell it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but,
um. Cool. So you've doubled your business basically every year. Going forward then,
okay.
what's this year, do you think you're gonna double? Or
You know, I I don't know if we are this year in particular, just on the purpose of we've branched out a lot this year trying to acquire those bigger deals, and so it was a lot
Mhm.
of new things. I think if we stuck to mostly acquiring the same kind of deals we were, those subdivision ones, we'd be there. I think we will, we're already our pipeline, um, is already almost as much as what we brought in last year for the
Nice.
whole year.
Yeah.
So I would say, at the bare minimum, we're gonna do the same, and that's us doing the same by, uh, stepping away from what we know works to venture out into, kinda newer territory to test things out. And so, like,
Mhm.
we're okay with, like, not 2Xing again just to see, "Okay, does this work? Can we do this?"
Yeah.
Is this something we will wanna continue to pursue? Because we always know if we need to go back, we already know what works and what got us here, and so worst case scenario, we just go back to exactly how we were doing it before because it does
Yeah.
work. But I would say we're probably on track, to do that. I mean, just this month alone, we should have around, like, 60,000 coming in for June that's scheduled,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
so not a bad month, I would say.
That's pretty good. That's, more than your salary
Yeah,
was, right? Yeah.
yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
I think you're right, that's why I quit last year was, last May or June, we had yeah, I forget what we brought in, 40 something thousand, and that was more than what I was making at my 9 to 5,
Yep.
and so I remember I literally went up to my boss, I was like, "Hey, so, yeah, I'm gonna put in my 2 weeks," and she was like, "Why? Yeah, she wasn't like, "Why? What the hell? Where are you going?" But she was like, "Yeah, dude, like, that's, like, really cool, you're going full time in your business, like, why are you making that leap?" And I was like, "Well, we just did more than my salary just this month, so I figured it'd probably be more beneficial for me to put most of my time towards this now." So, you know,
Yeah.
that's what I did and definitely paid off. As well.
It's funny.
But I would say, like, this kind of business, it's like I know this is off topic, but you can definitely easily work a 9 to 5 while doing this.
Yeah. I think I was doing about 50 deals a year at the time when I was still full time. So,
That's crazy,
yeah.
and, like,
And
that's, like,
then
how many deals we've done overall, you know?
yeah.
Mm, yeah, I think it's very like, you could definitely set this up in a way where it's not super time intensive for you.
Well, I was full time remote. So full time is not actually full time, but
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
but still, like, I've heard of guys, yeah, being full-time. I mean, I guess it's just, how whatever your risk tolerance is, you know? Like, I know some guys that
Mhm.
I think left their job, like, 6 months into it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're doing pretty dang good. They're doing, like, as good as us, you know? I kept my job for about 2 years, I think, before,
Mhm.
leaving and going full-time, and I would say it was worth it too, though. Like, I personally, I don't think I'd recommend I mean, you didn't recommend me, I was asking you, I remember. I was definitely, like, in the early stages, like, pretty naive. I was, like, thinking, "Oh, yeah, you know, I could probably leave my job 3 months into doing this." And, I don't know that that's the case, like, there's definitely
Yeah.
still build-up time, but it's well worth it. It's like,
Yeah.
hold
I
on
I
to that
mean,
job until you're consistently and the notes too, that's, like, the
yeah,
best I would say that's the best way to start because you can replace your monthly income from that, and not
for
have to
sure.
worry about, you know, slowly getting, a big chunk of change here, and then you get nothing for a few months, and you're all stressed out, and then you get another chunk of change here from a, cash property, you get those notes, and that definitely gives you the confidence to leave. It's like worst case
Yeah.
scenario, I'm still making what I'm making.
Yeah. It still saves me every once in a while where, like, I buy a lot of property one month and it's
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah,
need some
yeah.
money now, but I still have the notes
Oh,
come in, so then those are
dude,
nice.
totally. I That was the case for
Yeah.
us just last month. If we didn't have those notes, we would be screwed. We were down to, like, literally I don't even know if I wanna say, like, how low. We're $1,900 in our account because we had just bought a bunch of property.
Yeah.
Um, but, we knew we had that note money coming in the next month, and so it was like and it
Mhm.
was towards the end of the month when we got to that, uh,
Okay.
amount, and so we were
It's
like,
payday
"Alright,
tomorrow.
we only gotta thug it out for, like, 1 week, and then we'll be getting paid again, and we'll be fine."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so you know, I think that helps. I think that's like the best if you do a mix of that. Cause I know a lot of guys they'll just do mid-tier properties and like
Yeah.
whatever works for them. But I just think it's nice having that safety net.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, like, there's a bunch of different strategies, and they all work if you're doing them correctly. So, like, you can
Yeah.
do it differently, but
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I like this one.
there's so many ways to do it. And I know like all those higher level guys doing the minor subdivides, major subdivides, doing what is it, novations or something?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that the word?
That's
Yeah.
yeah, basically you're just it's, you're listing the property on the MLS and taking the difference between what you got
I
locked up
guess
for
so.
and
I
what you
get
sell it
some
for, so
novation. What is it where they're getting those? I always get
oh,
the
entitlements?
thank you.
Entitlements? Okay.
Yeah, guys
Yeah.
doing that stuff. So I know like there's like just a million different ways to do a deal.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Well, wrapping up, do you have any advice for somebody who's getting started? So you suggest notes, but, anything else?
I
Any other advice for somebody?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I can speak for somebody who's like if you're like younger, even not younger, if you're just, kind of paycheck to paycheck and you want to get into real estate, land in general, I think is the best place to start. But in particular, those smaller subdivision type properties where you'll likely sell on seller financing. I say likely because we
Mhm.
still sell plenty of them on cash too, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, but like, I would just do it. Go find some friends or family. If you don't have any friends or family, cut back on your monthly expenses for a little bit, save up money because it's so freaking worth it. Go get that first deal. I guarantee you could easily find something for like $2,000, $3,000. We just bought an acre in Arkansas for $1,400. It was two lots side by
Nice.
side. The gentleman, he bought it way back when, no use for it. Said, yeah, I think and by the way, too, quick note, I think the reason I think these smaller properties are the best to get into is because you don't really have to be good at sales either. A lot of these
Yeah.
sellers will do the negotiating for you. They'll tell you the price that you wanna buy it at anyways, or even less.
Yeah.
Like, we were ready to pay this guy for this acre, probably $5,000-$6,000. Gave me the price. I call him. He's like, "Yeah, I want $700 for each one." And I was like, "So, like, 1,400 total?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, I think we can make that work. Why don't I'll go ahead and I'll talk to my partner, make sure that's good for him, and then I'll get an agreement sent out to us."
Yeah.
He was happy. He got the money he wanted for it. We're really happy, and that's when we just got him a contract today for 14,000 cash.
Nice. Yeah.
And so they'll sell cash too, but, yeah, I would do that because it's lowest risk. It's just you build, like, a great base, like, foundation to start on, and, yeah, you don't need to have, like, all this crazy skill for those deals. Like, you kinda need to know land, how to talk to people when you're doing these mid-tier deals, but the seller finance ones, like, most of the time, these people are giving you the number you wanna buy it at least in
Mhm.
my experience. I'll call them and they'll be like, "Yeah, if you could do, like, 2,000." And the
Yeah.
most negotiation you gotta do anyways is just give them like, the tax assessed value,
Yeah.
which is low,
Yeah.
and they'll
Yeah.
say, "Yeah."
It's, yeah, you always wanna ask the number first because, like you said, sometimes you're willing to
Yeah.
offer a lot more, but they already undercut
They'll
you
give
and
you a
want a lot
number,
less.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
that's happened multiple times for us where I had a much higher number in mind that I was ready to give, but I
mhm.
refrained and I asked them first, and they gave me a number like half of what I was about to offer.
Yep.
Especially when you're starting out, like, that definitely makes a difference, on your
Yeah,
return.
definitely. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Or
would s
or what's needed to get into it. It's if you can get something for $1,400 versus 5 grand, like, that's a
yeah,
lot when you're
that's a
starting, so,
massive difference. And yeah, you
yeah.
go turn that into 14, well, now you have money to go do 3, 4, 5 deals. And that's what's
Yep.
nice about the scale on that. It's like you get one deal, and you can go turn that into a bunch more. If you get the cash, that's great because you can turn that into a bunch more deals. If not, that's fine. You get your seller finance money every month and you just let that stack up again until you have another 2 grand and you go buy another. and now you're making
Yep.
double. Um, I guess another little quick piece of advice, um, sometimes if you're really strapped for cash, you get one deal. A lot of the times you can try and pitch and, like, put your property up for sale with, like, a down payment of what you put into it. So if you bought it for 2 grand, I at least try and put that as, like, the down
Mhm.
payment amount, because there's definitely people that'll pay that. It is always easier, the less down, the quicker you'll sell it. But if you wanna try and get your investment back all up front, you could definitely ask for, a bit higher down payment, and we've done
Yeah.
that before. Definitely
What
sets
quick
long.
side note, but what do you do for your down payments usually? Do you like, what's the lowest you go on them?
1,000.
1,000? Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
usually do 1,000. I don't think we've ever done anything less. I think, yeah, I think it's always been 1,000, or, you could
Okay.
frame it 999.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, 1,000, and then up. We'll give them options, you know. I
Mhm.
mean, it really, give us 1,000, or you can pay whatever higher amount to lower your
Yep.
payment. Um,
Yep.
and, like, term-wise, we'll usually do a 24, 38, and 48 month, or 36 and 48-month option,
Okay.
uh, for finance. And if it's a really expensive property, we'll go higher on the months.
Mhm.
We have one property that's, forget if it's 60 or 72 months, but that's our longest
Okay.
note. I mean,
Yeah.
he bought that property for $55,000 from us. Which is another
S
reason, like, the seller
Yeah.
financing is crazy. You make way more. This was a property we bought for 15,000 cash. We listed it up for cash around 35,000 or 40. Um, and then this guy, he wanted to just do seller finance, and so we sold it, purchase price at $55,000. With the interest and that term length, we'll make $64,000 on that
Nice.
specific, and we're 15 in on it. And we got our money back up front. On that
Yeah.
deal, we put our minimum down payment of what we bought it for. So we got our
Okay.
$15,000 up front.
Nice. That's a good deal. Alright,
Juice
one more clip that we could, clip for the beginning is what's your biggest deal that you've ever got?
shoot, it might be that one. Like, craziest. I don't know. I don't know what the ROI is, but I think turning 15 into 64 is pretty dang good.
Yeah.
We did another one. We bought it for, um, I think it was $2,000, and we sold it for, like, 24.
Okay.
That's
Oh, wait,
another
you
good
said
spot.
you bought it for how much?
2,000.
6? Oh, 2,000? Okay.
2,000 bucks.
It's sold for
Sold it for
24. Nice.
24. But I would say
That's a good
that was
return.
probably our best deal was, buy for 15, sell for 55 with the
Yeah.
interest 64 really.
Yeah. I just signed a 10-year. It wasn't my biggest one, but
Wow.
it's one of my
Great.
biggest ones. Yeah. Well, it was like a month and a half ago, maybe, but it was 1,000 a month for 10 years. And I bought the property for I forget, like 17, 18, 19 grand, something like
Oh
that.
my
So
gosh.
yeah,
Wow.
so
That
that one was
is
really good.
that a waterfront?
No, it's just a bigger property,
Bigger? Okay.
more
Wow,
acreage. But
that's crazy.
actually, no, there's a stream on it. But it's
Okay,
a smaller stream. But
yeah.
yeah, that one's but yeah, that's a seller financing deal that like probably wouldn't definitely wouldn't even make like half that much if I didn't
Yeah,
do it on
no.
seller financing. But
I mean, you can't I don't you can't get anywhere close to what you make on the seller finance if you sell it cash. It's like you are
Mhm.
automatically making more. Like, all our seller finance ones, we're making minimum, probably including the interest payments, like $15,000,
Yeah.
total, in, I'll say gross, not including what we bought it for. So it's like most of our properties, a standard we're doing, we sell around 12 to 14,000 cash. But when we sell it on seller finance, the minimum purchase price is 14,000, almost
Mhm.
always. 14 to 16, and then you got the interest involved, and so you're turning 2 grand into 16 grand almost every single time. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that stuff adds up, like, really dang quick.
Yeah, definitely. Can't beat it really. There's nothing else that's
No,
gonna give you that return.
I mean,
That
I don't know, the past like I said, the past year, like in 2026, we started going a lot harder on these mid-tier deals,
mhm,
and we're certainly still gonna pursue those and do those a
for
lot
sure.
more. Because
Yeah.
the wire transfers of the cash it's great. Love it. Love to see it. Yeah, like, very great when
Yeah.
those come. But it kinda makes me appreciate these seller finance subdivision type deals just more and more, and it makes me
Mhm.
want to push on those a little more because it's just like you
Yeah.
just get the return, and the amount of effort to get those is so much less. Like, if you're
Yeah.
gonna go after those mid-tier deals, I feel like you gotta have a lot more systems and be a lot more methodical about everything, and you have to have more time on your hands too to go after those, to get those deals,
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
um,
Yeah, you have to be, somebody who likes being on the phone a lot, talking a lot,
yes,
I feel. It's, a lot
yes,
more
and
active.
you gotta put in the reps, you gotta learn it. And yeah, you gotta have a lot more time, I think, to
Mhm.
do it. You gotta be able to negotiate and get creative, to do double closes and that sort of stuff too. Whereas, yeah, these seller finance deals, perfect place to start. Very low friction, I think, to get a deal. Like you could legit get a deal within like a month or two, I would say. I mean, it took us a little longer. I'm not the brightest guy out there. So, somebody a little smarter, you could probably get a deal in like 2 months, learn it for a month and then go out, send your mailers and stuff, whatever. I mean, if you
Yeah.
cold call, you get a deal, your first freaking day if you're lucky.
Yeah. I mean, hindsight, it seems a lot easier, but I've worked with a lot of people now, and it still takes usually people a couple months to get into
Couple
it.
months, yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably right. Yeah, because 'cause I'm going off of, like, me right now, where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's like I could probably I could go find a subdivision right now, cold call, and I'll probably get a deal.
Mhm.
But yeah, you're probably right, because I remember when we were starting out, it's just so new and foreign. It took us a few months for sure, like 3 or 4 months, I think, to get
Yeah.
that first deal.
There are people that do it quick, but yeah, most it takes a couple months
Yeah.
just to get used
Which
to it,
and that's
but
fine, like, do it. I would say, like,
for
I'm
sure.
so freaking glad we didn't, drop it, because I remember you had helped us too when we were first going. You had helped us even find our first subdivision, because we
Mhm.
were some knuckleheads. We didn't know what the heck we were looking at, and so you even helped us. You were like, "Hey, check out here." And I don't know if you remember, it was in Utah,
Yeah.
and
Alright, it was like Strawberry Valley or
Strawberry was,
something.
like, the
Yeah.
area of subdivision. And
Yeah.
we got this guy to agree. We were gonna purchase it. It was like it wasn't a great deal. It was probably like I think it was like a buy for 1,500 or 2 grand and sell for 8,000. I say not a good deal. That's pretty dang good return, but what you
Mhm.
should usually expect is more. And, like, we had everything ready to go. We had the purchase agreement sent out. He signed it. We got with, like, a title company, and then, unfortunately, there was some weird laws with Utah where the deal couldn't get done because his wife had unfortunately passed away a while back.
Mm.
She had to
Okay.
be able to sign, so we had to do a lot more hoops than it was worth it for him, so he was like, "Yeah, sorry, guys. I just can't sell." And, like, that
Yeah.
definitely sucked because it was like, "Oh my gosh, we're about to get our first deal." But, like, it was worth the wait and putting in the effort those first few months to, like, finally get
Mhm.
that first deal.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah,
worth
that's,
it.
maybe you should go back and retarget that area. Maybe there's another deal over there.
Yeah,
Didn't
honestly, I
didn't
might
work
take
out the first time, but
yeah, 'cause, I mean, Utah's kinda blown up a little bit too.
yeah.
Um, could be interesting. Maybe we will. Strawberry, guys, maybe you go get your first deal.
Cool. So, where can people find you, Andrew? Where should they connect with you? Where should they follow you?
Oh, I'm bad with my socials. I need to get better. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at Andrew J. Fogarty. You can go to my LinkedIn. I don't ever use it unless I used it to hire our VA. I'm using it to find a cold caller, but that's it. I would just say Instagram, Andrew J. Fogarty. You could check out our website, you know, it's just to sell land though. So I mean it's nothing like on, how to learn that sort of that's not our thing. But that's
Yeah.
call.com. You can just look at our cool properties if you wanna buy land, we'll give you a good deal. On our website now, we have this feature, the map feature with the pin. Um, it's really cool, with, like, what Claude did to the website, but
Mhm.
anyways, maybe we'll cut that. Don't go to what go to Andrew Fogarty.
There we go.
It's
All right.
up in the
Well,
DM.
thanks for watching, everybody. If you want to get a CRM system and improve your outreach with AI, go to directrei.com, and we'll see you in the next episode.